A much better turnout since the last time I was here. What's up, everybody? Renee back with another in the car out of theater reaction. Basically, I'm doing this just to stay out of the cold, and it gets a little too noisy in the movie theater, so I just want to make sure I have some moments, some quiet time to talk about Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom, Aquaman 2, sequel to a movie that came out 5 years ago. And if I had a drink with me right now, this would be me pouring one out for the DCU, or I should say DCEU, because this closes out the 10-year run of the DCEU that we knew it once as. That started with Man of Steel, that started it all, and from there we got a lot of stuff from Zack Snyder and from other people and all that. So this pretty much closes out that entire run there, with Jason Momoa and crew here for Aquaman 2, The Lost Kingdom. So just to get some things out of the way here. There are no real major post-credit scenes at all. There is one, but it's nonsensical. It doesn't really matter. It just plays on Orm, his character, doing stuff. I'm sure originally they may have filmed some extra stuff when things were still in their minds, quote unquote, still good. But I'm pretty sure one of the things that they did and they made sure to do was close out everything once James Gunn and Peter Safran started taking over, and once we were pretty much made aware that this was going to be it for the current cast of characters and all what have you. So no real major post-credit scenes to worry about. This is a very self-contained story. Doesn't really tie into anything else that's happened within the universe or any of the storylines that we knew coming up to this point. No cameos. Big thing there. There are no cameos whatsoever. It's just the same cast of characters that we know from the Aquaman series, and then that's it. So I'm pretty sure whatever reshoots they've done, the amount of money that they spent on these reshoots, were to make sure that this was a self-contained, closed-out storyline that doesn't tie into anything and doesn't promise that it's going to lead to something else later on down the line. The ending was very clear, at least from my opinion. Another thing to get out of the way, Amber Heard. She is, of course, obviously in this movie. She is not completely cut out, though. Whether you like her or hate her, I'm pretty much indifferent with her. Obviously, everything that came out of the whole Johnny Depp trial and all that, I have some opinions. Basically, they're both crazy, but whatever, who isn't? But she... What you would think would be them trying to limit her appearance and kind of involvement in this whole storyline, I was actually quite surprised that she had some hero moments there. She had at least 3, from what I can recall, heroic moments. She definitely had her time to shine. However, a lot of the family parts of the movie were really just focused on Jason Momoa and the son, the little baby. You would think she would have been in there more in the mix, but I feel like they kind of maybe purposely not included her, or maybe that was also part of the editing and reshoots and all that stuff to kind of limit that aspect of it. But like I said, she does show up quite a bit, and she's a good-looking lady, and they made sure that we knew that because her cleavage was all out in full view throughout the whole movie. But like I said, she had her heroic moments. She definitely has her time in the film. Nicole Kidman definitely has her moments as well, playing the mom there. And I feel like they definitely wanted to focus in a lot on family. This was definitely a family-heavy storyline. They talk about lineage and all that kind of stuff. You had your brother element too that reminded me a lot of the relationship between Thor and Loki. There was even one moment where Jason Momoa calls Orm Loki at one point. So I really do feel like James Wan was having a lot of fun in poking at the Marvel Cinematic Universe and borrowing from a lot of other franchises in this movie. The ending itself, all right, so I'm going to go into some quick spoilers here, but before I do that, I'm just going to say I actually enjoyed this movie. It was a lot better than I thought it was going to be, or than what I was anticipating. I wasn't sure what to expect, to be honest with you, and I found myself a little bit more entertained than I thought I was going to be. Basically, Jason Momoa brought in his big bro energy and personality, a lot of Fast and Furious energy in this film. Makes sense because James Wan did direct Fast and Furious at one point. So anything that you get from the Fast and Furious type of movies, you're definitely gonna get that here. As far as tone and pacing and action, and even to a certain extent some absurdities, throughout the film. So you're definitely going to get a lot of that here. As far as the other things that Wan may have borrowed from, this felt like a mix of prequel Star Wars and Mummy Returns all combined together with hints of Lord of the Rings. Maybe even some Willow in there. I could definitely feel like there's a lot of influences in this film that James Wan kind of borrowed from. So you had a lot of that in there for sure. So like I said, from here on out, spoilers are open and gonna be kind of like spilled out and all that. So if you don't want to see or hear anything about that, then definitely you can pause the video here, come back whenever you feel like, or skip to the end for my final rating and verdict and what have you. The ending. Let's talk about the ending. It felt very much like Black Panther, where the whole thing was Atlantis, they decided to kind of come out into the open and introduce themselves to the land dwellers, the people, like you and I and everything. At the end of the movie, there's even an Iron Man-like speech that Jason Momoa gives, where he kind of says, like, we are Atlantis, this and that, and, he kind of does the whole thing where I am Aquaman, kind of a la I am Iron Man and what have you. So I thought that was really funny and interesting. There was a lot of laughable moments in here. Laughable meaning like humorous moments that I actually found myself laughing at. Even though I was entertained and I thought this was a decent movie, there were a lot of eye roll moments for me as well. Big shout out to Randall Park. He can now officially say he was involved in the MCU and in the DCEU. So he's definitely in this movie. Momoa was just what you expect him to be. He is definitely the driving force that makes this movie fun and entertaining. Amber Heard, I already said enough about her. She was fine. Nicole Kidman was great, even though I felt they put a lot of filters on her face. And that's another thing too. There were a lot of missteps and weird choices as far as the visual effects and CG is concerned. There were moments of the film where it looked great, and then there were other moments where, wow, it looked really bad. Even to one point where they were sharing a scene with Randall Park, and he's trying to like surrender and say, hey, I never wanted to do this. And the composition changed halfway through. So you kind of expected, okay, is there's going to be a big special effect moment happening here? And bam, something happens. I was like, wow, why couldn't they mask that any better? I thought that was really, really off and weird. They felt the need to constantly use the underwater effect for everything. So the fake flowing of the hair, the waviness of the faces and all that, they overused it, I think, in my opinion. Where there was one point where Aquaman and his brother Orm are inside an enclosed ship driving through underwater, and there's still that underwater effect. So why is there water in the ship when we already know they can breathe normal air? So that didn't make a lot of sense to me, and I felt like they used the effect when they wanted to, and they decided not to use it for convenience sakes. And I don't know if it was a budgetary thing or what have you. They spent so much money on this film, so I don't know what that was all about. So I thought that was kind of weird in itself. I also felt like there were a lot of scenes that they used a lot of filtering on. Most of the scenes with Nicole Kidman, I felt like there was a Photoshop filter on her face the whole time. I think easily you could say that about Amber Heard too. So it was, again, it's just a really interesting choice and creative choices that they made when it comes to the special effects and visual effects and all. There were a lot of underwater battles that kind of felt like they were space battles in a way. Involved a lot of ships, a lot of fighting and all that. It was fun to watch. It was pretty entertaining. But if you kind of look at the entire film as a whole, the story doesn't move anything along. It just gives you another glimpse into the world of Atlantis and into Aquaman's life and what he's involved in. Yahya Abdul-Mateen I thought was good, but I still feel he's very much underutilized in this. He's a decent villain, but not the best out there. Obviously, I can't expect everything to be like a Loki situation or even like a Killmonger situation or what have you, but I thought he did a good job. It was very decent, you know, but I still overall feel like he's very much underutilized. I want to give an award to the best overacting in this film. It goes to this one lady. I believe her character name was Stingray. Whoever that actress is, one of the best overacting I've seen in some time. You know, kind of like when someone feels the need to express that they are an authority figure, it's the over yelling and the whole like, fire the weapons and man your stations. You know, I felt like she had to overdo it so much, so I wanted to shout her out real quick as one of the best overactors in this film. I thought that was pretty comical for me. But yeah, again, overall, a lot of family stuff, the two brothers situation going on, the family with the son, you know, being possibly the next of heir. Protecting that son because the son had to be utilized for everything they were doing at the end. A lot of like, you know, heroic Fast and Furious type of action scenes. But at the end of the day, I was entertained. You know, it was decent and it wasn't as bad as I was expecting it to be. So for that, I'm definitely going to give it a 3 out of 5 stars. I think if you are in the mood for just a popcorn action flick, then this is definitely something that you should check out, especially now that we're in the holidays. A lot of families are getting together and, you know, maybe we'll be going to the movies and all that. There's a lot of options that are going to be going on for all of you out there this weekend and next week. So if you were looking for something like action-y, superhero-y like, then this is going to be a decent thing to check out. And if you're a fan of the original Aquaman, or if you just love Jason Momoa himself, which I'm sure a lot of you do, and you enjoy like the Fast and Furious movies, then this is definitely a movie to check out because you're going to get a lot of those type of tones and a lot of that feel and a lot of that sense of entertainment and joy that you may have been getting from those type of movies. You're definitely going to get that here. But yeah, those are my thoughts on Aquaman, The Lost Kingdom. I'm curious what all of you are going to think about it out there. Definitely let me know your thoughts in the comments below if you had a chance to check it out or if you're planning to this weekend. But thanks so much for watching. As always, if you enjoyed this, don't forget, hit that like button. If you hated this, hit the dislike. If you want to stay up to date with everything we do here on the channel, definitely make sure you are subscribed and make sure your notifications are turned on so that you get notified every time a new video is posted on the channel. So with that being said, I'm going to head on out for now. Until next time, stay cool, stay classy, stay safe. I will catch you all in the next one. All right, peace out, y'all. Bye-bye.